The final game of the week, our nightcap Monday Night Football game. It is the Cincinnati Bengals traveling out west to face the Denver Broncos. This, in theory, when they were making the schedule, should have been a really fun one. Should have been Joe Burrow. Should have been that Broncos defense. Should have been Bo Nix in year two. It should have been a great game, and maybe it is still a great game. But it's not the headliner we thought that it was going to be with the injuries that these teams have, and sort of how the Broncos have played a little bit to start the season. Where do you want to start? You want to start on the Bengals side of things or the Broncos?
Look, I'll go with the Bengals offense, and nothing's going to happen if their offensive line doesn't play well, and especially if they don't pass protect. The Denver Broncos I think their pass rush really has been, offensive line too, their pass protection, but their pass rush has, to me, been the most consistent part of their team this season. They're 7th in the NFL in pass rush grade. They're 1st in pressure rate, top 4 in pass rush win rate and sack rate. I just think what you look at with this Broncos pass rush against a Cincinnati offensive line that, again, we'll say it a million times over, but they've been struggling. But you look at Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, DJ Jones, John Franklin Myers, Jonah Ellis, all the guys the Broncos can throw at you in the pass rush, and they've struggled in the secondary so far on the back end. The coverage grade is not as high as you might think, but if they can get enough pressure on Jake Browning, I think the Broncos, they're going to be fine defensively. I just think that the Bengals are at such a disadvantage every single week, run and pass game, with their offensive line and just how poor it is. It's a bottom 5 offensive line every year. It's that again this year. I think right now it's the lowest graded offensive line in the league. They haven't shown us any life yet, whether it's with Joe Burrow or with Jake Browning up front. And if they don't play significantly better against the guys this Broncos pass rush can throw at you, they got 3 different guys with at least 14 pressures already. It's just ridiculous. I think that's something that the Broncos feel really good about, is that matchup of their D-line against Cincinnati's O-line.
I'm going to keep this one really simple. I'm starting to not really care about much with the Broncos outside of Bo Nix. The defense is going to be good. I think the secondary is going to bounce back. Have they started bad this season to start the year? Yes. But I think they're certainly capable of playing a lot better. We saw that last season. We know that that's going to be the case moving forward. The defensive line, like you mentioned, is fantastic. The offensive line isn't as dominant, especially in the run game, as we've seen them be in the past. But again, I think that's something that can improve. Wide receivers, Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims, they haven't really taken that definitive next step, or at least the 2025 version of whatever a lot of people thought that they were going to be. They're not quite there yet, but I think it revolves around Bo Nix, to be honest with you. And we've talked about this. His inconsistencies are holding the team back. I don't think it's solely his fault of why they're sitting here at 1-2, but I think that his misses are why they're not maybe 3-0 on the season. And until Bo Nix can figure out how to play under pressure, how to set his feet, how to throw on the run by not missing these guys, albeit by a little bit, just a little bit. He's still missing them and not converting these major pass plays. Until he can figure out how to do that, the ceiling of this team is going to be capped. And so is this an opportunity where you're at home, you're going up against a team that you should beat, a team that has struggled on the defensive side of the ball to start the season? Can you look good against this team? That's the only really question mark that I care about answering, and it's the thing that's going to matter most if we take away from this game. Can the Broncos get a win? And can Nix be one of the reasons why? Can he be a more consistent player? Because if not, Jake Browning's pretty fearless, especially when they've got no expectations on the road. What was the line in this one? 7.5?
7.5 for Denver.
7.5. Jake Browning's got nothing to lose. Perfect place for him. It's where he always loves to be. It's where he loves to thrive. So unless Knicks can play more consistent, they're going to continue to play down to opponents the way that they have throughout the first 3 games of this season. They're going to keep teams into it, and who knows? You might lose some games that you think that you should have won, like, for example, that Colts game that they played a couple of weeks ago. So I am waiting for Bo Nix to play more consistently, and if he cannot, then the Broncos are going to have issues throughout the rest of the season. But that is what I'm mainly looking forward to in this one. Ultimately, I do think they get it done. I think the Broncos, I went with a little bit of a weird score in this one, 26-20. That's what I'm going with. Broncos win this game 26-20.
I have Denver as well. I have it a little wider because I just don't. The Bengals offense right now, outside of just so quickly getting the ball out to Chase and Higgins and hoping they make plays, the Bengals offense right now just has no structure to it because they can't block anybody. I have it 24-13 Denver. I think their defense and their defensive line does take this game over. And one more stat on Nix, because the accuracy to me has been concerning, and we've always known him, especially going back to his Oregon days, as an accurate passer. Right now, look, 32 quarterbacks have thrown at least 40 passes that we've charted with our quarterback charting, right? 22.7% uncatchable pass rate for Bo Nix. The only two quarterbacks higher than that, Caleb Williams and Geno Smith. That level of inaccuracy is not something we're used to seeing from Bo Nix. I've told you, I think the mechanics are off. You want to see him against the subpar Bengals defense play better in this game, just be more fundamentally sound and not take those unnecessary shots downfield. And he's missing some of them too, like you mentioned, and he's got 6 turnover-worthy plays through 6 games. You want to see Nix play better, but I do think Denver's defense really is the biggest obstacle for Cincinnati in this game. I think they control the game. 24-13 Broncos.
He's pressing, no question about it. I think he's just pressing the game, and he looks too amped up. He look like there are a couple of throws. Some of those uncatchable throws, like we've been together watching some of these. It's like he's throwing to a spot, and the receiver is not at that spot, but you don't know. Okay, well, whose fault is it? Because there are a couple of times where he throws the ball to a spot and it's incomplete, and you can see him like saying something to the receiver or the tight end. But I'll go back and I'll watch the all 22, and I'll be like, no, he stopped where he was supposed to stop. I think he was in a spot where he was the furthest away from the zone defenders. He was sitting in the true soft spot in the zone. You just kind of missed him, and I think those plays tell me that he's just pressing. He's just too amped up. He's pressing things. He's not playing calm. He's not taking a deep breath of, metaphorically or physically even, before he's doing all this stuff. And until he does that, they're going to be a very volatile team, and you're never going to know whether they're going to win or lose, despite the fact that they are one of the more talented and could be one of the more complete teams in the NFL. So we'll see what they are on Monday night.